What's going on, you guys? This is All331 and I'm going to be giving you guys another Tales of Arise video. So this video I'm going to be giving you guys is I'm going to be showing you the way I have my strategy set up for both early game and late game. So for the early game, this is the strategy I ended up using a little after I found out you can actually customize your strategy. For the most part, I did use the moderate strategy, but then I ended up customizing it just so I can kind of make it easier for myself to stay alive, because it made it so my allies would heal more often, but I was also able to kind of preserve more CP this way. So let's go ahead and take a look. So as you can see on the strategy, I had it on fight with moderation for a very long time. I mean, I wouldn't say for a very long time. I used it like this up until I was around level 20-ish, maybe a little before that. But with fight with moderation, it's not bad because it allows you to have anyone KO'd for life bottle and recovery arts. It has a lot of the essentials, which is good. But I wouldn't recommend going with this. I would recommend creating your own. So this is the second one that I have. The second one is the easy or the early game strategy. So for the early game strategy, you're gonna want to go ahead and put ally HP 75% or less and own HP 75% or less on first aid for Xion. And the reason why you want to do that is because she's going to be the first character you end up getting as an ally. So you want to make sure she uses her first aid on you or herself when either of you are below 75% health. You can change it if you wanted to put it to 50%. It's still kind of pushing it, but I mean, you can get away, you can stay alive if you play smart when you are 50% or less. But it is really up to you whether you want to go 75% or 50% or less. If you do 50% or less, you probably would save a lot more CP than you would versus 75% or less. And then on the bottom, you want to make sure you put no restrictions, because with the no restrictions, it just makes it so that way they use the heal all the time until you pretty much run out of CP. And then on ally HP 25% or less and own HP 25% or less, you want to put healing circle. So with the healing circle, you get this. It's not like a late healing ability, but you're not going to have this right away, I don't think. I think you get this a little bit later throughout playing. It's because of the proficiency level for her healing, so you end up unlocking this whenever her proficiency is higher. But yeah, you want to get the healing circle at the last for the 25% because it's a nice heal over time, and yeah, I mean, it's just a nice big AoE heal, so you can kind of like run around inside the heal circle while you're healing up. And then when your CP is 25% or less, you're gonna have your NPC or your ally is gonna use an orange gel. The orange gel is the one that gives you 30%. I believe it's the one that gives you 30% your CP back. Let me just go ahead and check real quick. I'm like 90% sure. Yeah, 30% of your CP is regenerated when you use the orange gel. And then just put no restrictions as well. You can either go no restrictions, or if you really do want to be conservative about it, you can put 1, 5, or at least 10. But you know, at that point, I mean, there'd be like, I don't know, there wouldn't be a reason to use it if you put it have at least 10. At least 1 is fine. At least I would say go with this just in case, or you can just go with no restrictions. And because I mean, they are pretty expensive. They're like 3,000 each, but I did post a video on how to make a lot of gold pretty quickly within like 10 to 30 minutes, so you'll be able to actually get a bunch of orange gels in really no time. And then for the sixth one, you're gonna go with anyone inflicted or afflicted with ailment. So with this, that means if there's someone that's poisoned or shocked or frozen, you know, just any of those ailments, any of your allies would use any ability that removes ailments with any removal art. You can either do that, or you can actually put dispel on. And then for anyone KO'd, you want to put KO recovery arts. You can either do that, or you can go ahead and put I believe, where is it? It's not revitalize. I honestly don't remember the word. it should be a revive ability, I guess. Oh, you know what? Revive isn't. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I guess the KO recovery arts would just automatically use the revive skill. I was thinking it was just also going to use like elixirs and whatnot, but it's just the skills. And then for the last two, you're going to have ally HP 50% or less on both, and it's going to be for Dolahim. And the reason why I put it for him on 50% is because he's more of going to be a backup healer than he would be as a main healer. The main healer is obviously going to be Xion, and then if she isn't able to heal everyone in time and someone does still end up getting below 50%, he can just go ahead and pop a heal for them. And the other reason why I also included him on the very bottom is because he's not going to be the first character you end up getting. He's going to be one of the last characters you get, him and Kasara. So yeah, I just put him on the bottom. Now, one of the things you're probably wondering, if you were wondering, is why don't I have anything to do with elixirs? Like, I'm not using any apple peach gels or treats, bottles, elixirs. And the reason why is because the AI will pretty much eat those up a lot and you end up having none left. It would honestly just be better for you to manually use it versus the AI using it. The only thing that they should be manually using is going to be the CP 25% or less, the orange gel, because they can only use it when your CP is under 25% or 25% or less. Now, this is a really good setup for those of you that are just starting out the game and you know, you're just wanting to get a little bit better, I guess. You want to be able to survive and conserve your CP a little bit more often, as well as having those heals out. But once you get further into the game and you do have more CP, I would say at least 500 and higher, you can still keep using this. Don't get me wrong, this is still a really good setup even for later on in the in your gameplay. But when you do have a lot more CP to use and you have a lot more gels, like you have the ones that can give you 30%, 60% of your CP back, then I would go with this setup. Now, also, another good thing is, if you have the accessory for Xion that allows her to reduce the amount of CP she uses, this setup is going to be perfect because you're going to be constantly being spammed with heals all the time. So it's pretty much the same setup, except there's a little bit more added to it, and it's going to have more heals incorporated. So anyone KO'd, obviously you're going to use KO recovery arts. Anyone or ally HP 75% or less she's going to use revitalize, and it says at least one ally. You can either do at least one ally or no restrictions. I don't know, for some reason sometimes I've been having issues with the at least one ally. Let me go ahead and put no restrictions on this one. But yeah, sometimes I've been having issues with at least one ally. So if anything, if you think you're having issues, just go ahead and put no restrictions as well, because sometimes they just won't use the ability when it's just one ally. So with no restrictions, it basically means if anyone is below 75% or less, then they will use so-and-so ability. Anyone inflicted with ailment, you're going to go ahead and use ailment removal arts. 25% or less, orange gel, have at least one is what I put it to. I'm going to switch that to no restrictions as well. And then this is going to be for Law, for his own HP. Well, I don't know for a fact if it means his own HP or if it means the player's own HP, but it doesn't really matter. I just put inspiration, so if whoever has the inspiration is to heal. So for own HP 25% or less, I put inspiration so that way he can heal himself, and then he can only use this when there's more than 1% CP. And also, if you notice that it's not healing himself, then just switch it to the ally. Then obviously, then that means own HP's the wrong one. ally HP 25% or less. So this is like a nice AoE heal that she does, and what's nice about Guardian Field is any enemies that go inside her field take damage as well and get pushed away from it, or pushed. It's like a tick push, so it goes boom, 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 boom. So it's a nice little damage, just a little bit of damage, but it is still a pretty good amount of healing that she can also apply. And I put no restrictions. Well, I'll probably just put CP 1% or more, so you at least have to have 1% or more CP. Not that it really matters, I guess, because I'm using the gel, so I'll just put no restrictions on both. And then for the 8th and 9th, this is going to be for Rinwell, and I've set it to always, so she's always going to use this no matter what, but it's only going to be once per member. So this pretty much means anytime a member has the buffs for concentrate and sharpness, then she's not going to reapply it until they don't have it. If they don't have it, she will reapply it. But yeah, it says once per member, and what it does is concentrate will allow you to increase penetration. So penetration is very important in this because it allows you to get a higher crit chance, and it's going to allow you to get like stagger or armor break or something like that. And it's a 30% increase, 30% penetration increase. And then sharpness is a 30% increase in damage, so attack and elemental damage. So those are really good offensive buffs. And then for the 10th one, I have ally HP less than 100%. When he does, or with this, you're going to go ahead and apply barrier to pretty much anyone that has under 100% health. And then for number 11, I have Steel, and I just set it to always. I didn't put any restrictions as well. And what Steel does is it allows you to get an increase in attack and elemental attack with, by 30%. So the only thing is, you technically don't really need this. You don't need Steel if you have Rinwell and Law in the same party, because sharpness, she's going to apply sharpness to him anyway, so he won't need it. Sharpness and Steel do not stack. You're not going to be able to get a 60% increase, unfortunately. But if you have just Law in the team and Rinwell's not, then keep the Steel on him. If Law and Rinwell are on the same team, disable this option for him. You can still keep it on here, but just hit the check mark and disable it. And also, I wanted to make sure you guys knew that barrier is a 30% increase to defense and elemental defense. So it's a really nice defensive buff. Number 12, ally HP 50% or less. So when their health is below 50%, they're going to, I set it to keep away from enemy and no restrictions. So this is a really good thing to have as well for your allies, just in case if if they're in trouble and they get hit for a lot, they could just make sure they stay away from the enemy until they're healed up, versus just staying in the battle and then dying. And then for number 13, own HP 75% or less, first aid, basic spell, own HP 50% or less, revitalize. This is a big heal. It's basically going to do like 9 to 11, 12,000 healing, and everyone's health is capped to 99.99, so it's a full heal. Anyone afflicted with ailment, dispel. It doesn't really matter if you put dispel or not, because you already have the other one set up. That you already have the fourth one. Anyone afflicted with ailment removal arts. But I just put dispel just because. And then, but you don't need it. If you feel like it's just a waste, then don't worry about it. Ally HP less than 100%. I put regenerate because regenerate does healing over time. And let me go ahead and put this on, no restrictions as well as this one. Ally HP 75% or less, he uses Fairy Circle. So Fairy Circle is a spell you're not going to be able to get unless you do have the DLC cosmetic, I believe. So let me go ahead and just look real quick. Dolaham. Yeah, so it is a DLC item or a spell, unfortunately. But if you have it, then go ahead and use it because it's a nice heal. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. It's not something that you need to have. Instead, you can run you can just keep running heal, or you can just leave it on regenerate. And then, or you can also go with Lionheart. It is a nice speed AG recovery, speed up AG recovery, but I don't really use it too much because I don't really have too much issues with my AG. Anyone afflicted with ailment, dispel again. And then I set this up. So you would only want to ever put always keep away from enemy if you have Rinwell, Rinwell, Xion, and Dolahim in the same party, and you're playing as a different character. You could either play as Kisara, Law, or Alfin, because those are the melee characters. The other three are more so ranged. Dolahim can play melee or range, but in this case he's going to be considered range because he's support, so it won't really matter. This is that would be the only time you would set this one active. If you do end up playing Dolahim, or not Dolahim, if you end up playing any of the other three, like Dolahim, Rinwell, or Xion, that means you're gonna have one of the other melee characters most likely on the team as well, either Law, Alfin, or Kisara, and you don't want to have them keep away all the time. So you want to make sure, like, and if you are only playing Alfin, Kisara, or Law, then I would highly recommend activating this, so this way they always stay away from the enemies. And then the last one, I just wanted to make sure I had everything set again, so I put LA HP less than 100%. I put Healing Circle. Healing Circle does use quite a lot, but again, when you have the accessory that reduces 40% or 60% of CP usage, then it's pretty much like not really using much. You're only using like 4 CP or something. And then the last one, LHP under 25% or less, apply another heal circle. So a lot of healing with this strategy. Let me just go ahead and make sure I also put on allies will move away. Let me put always. So this will also be set for those of you that are playing as Alfin, because in the first 2 allies you end up getting is going to be Rinwell and Xion, and those 2 are both ranged characters. So you want to make sure you have this one active as well. That's only if you're playing as Alfin. If you're not playing as Alfin, you're playing as Xion, or you're playing as Rinwell, then you don't need to have this active. But again, I would highly recommend keeping it active, just, you know, as a starting point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I could technically show you. Yeah, I'll just show you guys the art list that I use for my characters. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna show you guys this again in a future video for each character's setup, but I'll just show you here real quick as well. So the only ones I have set up for Kisara is Guardian Field, Crescent Moon, Hurricane Slice, Tempest Wyvern, Maximum Burst, Slag Assault, and Falling Storm, Dazzling Spin, Beast Assault, and then these 3, Flare Demolisher, Blizzard Bloom, and Final Player. Some of them are going to be DLC, again, DLC skills, so don't worry about not having them if you don't have it. Rinwell, I have Concentrate and Sharpness active for her, Burning Strike, Spread, Tidal Wave, Cyclone, Divine Spirit Saber, Holy Lance, Maelstrom, Shooting Star, Divine Streak, and Beatific Doror, Aquarius Damnation. And a lot of these are mainly her advanced skills. For those of you that are playing, that are just starting out, then I would just leave it the way it is, or if anything, just put on what is it called? Spread. Use Spread for Burning Strike if you end up getting it. Burning Strike you get from a subquest, but Spread, Burning Strike, and the where is it? I think it's Razor Cyclone, and Lightning Orb are really good ones in the beginning, like as soon as you get her, pretty much. For Xion, I have First Aid, Revitalize, Dispel, Healing Circle, Recover, and Resurrection all active. And then pretty much everything else is not active, all her combat stats. Actually, you know what? I am going to activate Gravitas Field because it's a nice pull to the small enemies. Ignis Celestia, Tonitas Celestia, Luke Celestia, Ignis Diffusus, Tonitas Pluvia, and Luke Divisio. So a lot of spells, or not even spells, these are just bombs. Pretty much all the bombs. And then, except for these 4. Burning Strike, Flare Tornado, Spread, Ice Tornado, Consuming Wildfire, and Explosive Charge. Ray is a DLC skill, but I used Ray as well. Dolahim, I have Heal, Regenerate, Dispel, Barrier, Cure, Fairy Circle, Resurrection, and Lionheart. So sometimes he'll use this, sometimes he won't. It doesn't really matter, but when he does, it's pretty nice. And then Sanguine Blossom, Crescent Flash, Raging Lunastorm. You won't be able to get Raging Lunastorm, I don't think. I think it's a DLC item or skill again. Tornado Drive, Sonic Spear, Demon's Lance, Soaring Blast, Eagle Rage, Tectonic Fission, Epochal Severance. I don't really like this skill, and Bloody Howling. I don't really like Bloody Howling too much, but it's also not that bad. And then for Alfin, I never let Alfin as an AI. Either he's benched or I'm playing as Alfin. So it doesn't, but I'll just tell you guys what I use for him anyways. So there's Swallow Blade, Sonic Thrust, Shockwave Slash, Lightning Thrust, Double Demon Fang, Sword Rain Alpha, Raining Slash, Mega Sonic Thrust, Eternal Devastation, Thunder Fang, and then Howling Azure Storm, Plasma Shock, Orochi's Gale Force Fury, Mirage, Luna Rondo, Hurricane Thrust, Stardust, Soaring Light Spear, Inferno, well pretty much all the Inferno stuff, Thunderous Devastation, Scarlet Outburst, and Blazing Pillar. And then for Law, Talon Storm, Shallow Dance, Inspiration, Steel, Talon, Hurricane, Serpent Knuckle, Divine Fang Blast, Dark Wind, Flashing Savage Roar, Glimmer Dragon, Inferno Punch, Hegemony, I have no idea how to say that, Flare, Thundery Tenebrous Claw, and that's it. I didn't unlock the last one he has, the other last Mystic Art. I have to do that with Alfin, with the talking and the cooking stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for everything. There's nothing else I really need to go over. You have both the basic beginner to mid-game strategy and mid-game to end-game strategy, and then also you have all the skills that I use for my AIs. Those are not the skills that I generally use for myself. Some of them are the same, but most of them are not. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section as well, and I will try my best to help you guys out to the best of my ability. You know, like, this has been really fun, and yeah, I'm gonna also be showing you guys like gameplay footage, not just gameplay, but like character guides on what abilities I use for each character on another video for each character, showing you the gameplay from those characters' perspectives. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If this helped you guys out, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is all Day 1. Have a good day, good night, and peace.